been challenging. I mean, we all know that. It's been challenging. This group has dealt with some adversity. At times we've really handled it well. At times we haven't handled it very well. Even seeing our last series against Rice, we played one of the worst games we've played in probably the last 4 or 5 years on Friday. We addressed some issues after the game. We addressed some issues with pregame the next day, and we turn around and win 2 games the next day. So, against a program that's a nationally prominent program, and now we've the last 2 years we've beaten Rice 2 out of 3. The last 2 years we won the series each of the last 2 years. So, you kind of see those things happen, and you try to make adjustments. You try to get guys to mature, try to get guys to do things at a high level. But it's been challenging. The one thing I will say that's been a positive is for the most part we've practiced the right way. And I'm a big practice guy. I really put a lot of value on that. I think if you practice the right way over an extended period of time, the results are going to come. But it has been challenging. Honestly, guys, there's no excuses here. It doesn't matter if we play at 10 a.m. on a Thursday or if we play at midnight on a Sunday. You all know that. We just don't go there at all with our players. We don't go there as coaches. It's our responsibility to develop more players and more pitchers. And as coaches, we need to do a better job of that. There's no question about that. Has it had an effect? Yes, it has, to be honest. I mean, we've had a difficult time getting into a rhythm. But again, that's something that we're not going to use as an excuse. Again, we've got to do a better job developing more guys. We talk about it all the time. We've got to get more linked to our pitching staff, and we've got to get more linked to our position player group. Now, we have had to ask a lot of guys to maybe be in a role that they're not ready for yet. And we're always going to protect our players. We're always going to try to be positive with them. But the reality is we've had to ask some guys to pitch in certain situations or certain roles or play maybe defensive positions or hit in certain spots of the order that they're really not quite ready for yet. Now, moving forward, it's our job to develop them, and I think that that's going to happen. We've got a great track record. But in terms of trying to get in a rhythm and trying to get the most out of our guys, again, we got to do a better job with that. Great question. With a guy like Harris Yett, who's catching most of the games, he's got a little bit different practice plan than everybody else, and that's been a positive. He's put up good numbers at this point. He does a great job with our pitching staff. But really, we haven't. We've got to get better in practice to give ourselves a chance to be able to repeat those actions in games, maybe shorten down a little bit as time goes on. But again, the development part is a huge piece of our program. It always has been, always will be. And we challenge guys in practice, even on those Thursday workouts. And y'all have seen that when we go on the road. Thursday's not just a hangout day and just kind of halfway get your work done. It's trying to challenge them mentally, trying to challenge them physically, to do things at a high standard. And again, for the most part, we've had pretty good practices. If that continues, we're going to continue to make progress moving forward for this year and moving forward for the years to come. Well, and it has been. And Dom struggled early in the season. We actually set him on the bench for a couple of games, and he responded in a positive manner. And just the communication with him has been awesome. He wants to do well. A kid like Todd Elwood has played at a really high level. He blew his arm up this summer. He had to have Tommy John surgery. He really probably shouldn't even be playing right now. That's one of the things that we've dealt with. From an adversity standpoint, really proud of him for doing the rehab and doing all those things and he's back to throwing pretty well now. So, and there's been other situations. I don't mean to just zero in on those two guys, but we just got to keep grinding. We say that all the time. We got to keep trying to make improvement in practice, and then apply what we're doing in practice into game situations. When we do that, we're going to play at a really high level. Well, we're asking freshmen to be weekend starters. Bryce McCowan he's a weekend starter, and I can't remember the last time that we really have had to do that. But that's the situation we're in right now, and he's done an adequate job there. We've asked a lot out of Will Palinkas. We put him back in the bullpen. He's got a really good arm. He's going to be good moving forward. We've asked a lot of, Mason Herbert. Mason Herbert had surgery to reconstruct his jaw in January, and he's been behind with his throwing program, so it's taken him a while to kind of get going. So again, proud of those guys. We've asked a lot of them, asked a lot of some freshman position players as well. But again, I think we see it as an opportunity to develop those guys, to get them experience where they can continue to make progress moving forward for this year and also in the future. Well, again, Matt's one of the hardest working kids we've got in our program, and was pitching at an extremely high level early in the season. And we run into a situation that's doesn't happen a lot in our program, where he's got an injury that is not career threatening, but he's going to be able to get that injury taken care of, and he will be with us full go come this coming fall. Well, again, it's challenging. We got at Southern Miss, it's a very difficult place to play. Then we're at FIU, who really played well this past weekend. And then we got, 2 of the last 3 series at home, to finish with 1 road trip to UAB. So we all know that the challenges of this league, it's a great league. People really start playing at a high level once the conference play starts. There's a lot of ebb and flow with it. I mean, you may be in the top 2 or 3, and then you may turn around 2 weeks later and be in the bottom 2 or 3. We've just become accustomed to competing at the top end the last several years. And we've had one of the best programs in Conference USA the last 2 or 3 years. And we're proud of that. We're trying to get back to that standard. We need to do some things, from a pitching standpoint to try to get that solidified as much as we can. We need to do some things with our lineup to try to get as athletic as we can. We've made a few adjustments with that here the last week or so. We just need to keep hanging in there and grinding, because 1 or 2 games is going to make a lot of difference between whether you finish in the top part of the league or whether you finish in the bottom part of the league. So we expect a high level of play moving forward. We got 15 more opportunities, and we're welcoming the opportunity to be able to have a chance to compete at that highest level.